Yeah, the fire that's inside adventures left and right. Get ready to fight. Stars align. We run and jump and grind. We will never be blind. Promise I will give my all in. Never leave my friends behind. Stars align. We run and jump and grind. We will never stay blind. Towers breaking and you're falling, you're falling. Going all or nothing.
Are you ready for this?
Fire that's inside is waiting to ignite. Just hold tight. Yeah, the fire that's inside adventures left and right. Get ready to fight. Stars align. We run and jump and grind. We will never be blind. Promise I will give my all in. Never leave my friends behind. Stars align. We run and jump and grind. We will never stay blind. Towers breaking and you're falling, you're falling. Going all or nothing. It's yours to hold, never wanna lose control. It's yours to own, time to bring it all home. It's yours to hold, never wanna lose control. It's yours to own, time to bring it all home. Time to bring it all home. Time to bring it all
Selama ini ribuan hari ku dekat denganmu. Lewati berbagai hal ku ada di sisimu. Tanpa kau tahu perasaanku padamu. Sendiri ku berharap memberi kasih walau tak kembali. I may be not yours and you are not mine, but I'll be there for you when you need me. There's only me, believe me, girl, it's only me. Yeah, it's only me. I will always be the one who pull you up when everybody push you down. It is only me, believe me, girl, it's only me. Yeah, it's only me. Sekalipun kau tak pernah pedulikan rasaku, ku takkan acuhkan dirimu. Tapi ku harap suatu saat nanti kau tahu. Sendiri ku berharap memberi kasih walau tak kembali. I may be not yours and you are not mine, but I'll be there for you when you need me. There's only me, believe me, girl, it's only me. Yeah, it's only me.
salt air and the rust on your door. I never needed anything more, or whispers of are you sure? Never have I ever before. But I can see us lost in the memory. August slipped away into a moment in time, 'cause it was never mine. And I can see us twisted in bed sheets. August slipped away like a bottle of wine, 'cause you were never mine. You're back beneath the sun, wishing I could write my name on it. Will you call when you're back at school? I remember thinking I had you, but I can see it's lost in the memory. August slipped away into a moment in time, 'cause it was never mine. And I can see us twisted in bed sheets. August sipped away like a bottle of wine, 'cause you were never mine. Back when we were still changing for the better, wanting was enough. For me it was enough to live for the hope of it all. Cancel plans just in case you call and say meet me behind the mall. So much for summer love and saying us, 'cause you weren't mine to lose. You weren't mine to lose. No. But I can see us lost in the memory. August slipped away into a moment in time, 'cause it was never mine. And I can see us twisted in bed sheets. August sipped away like a bottle of wine, 'cause you were never mine. 'Cause you were never mine. Never mine. Do you remember? Remember when I pulled up and said get in the car, and then canceled my plans just in case you called? Back when I was living for the hope of it all, for the hope of it all. Meet me behind the mall.
wine and you 5, 6, 7, 8. Roll the windows down, let the bass drop low. And everybody's talking, but I don't wanna know. Feel the fresh air, I can feel your eyes staring. I'm not gonna lie, I get a little bit scared. My heart is on wings, I'm living in dreams, and at the top of our lungs we sing. Everything is perfect. All our words were worth it. Dancing around like a clown at the circus. Backyard boy, you make me nervous.
Can I call you baby? Can you be my friend? Can you be my lover up until the very end? Let me show you love. I don't pretend. Stick by my side even when the world is giving in. Oh, don't you worry. I'll be there whenever you want me. I need somebody who can love me at my worst. No, I'm not perfect, but I hope you see my worth. 'Cause it's only you, nobody knew I put you first. And for you, girl, I swear I do the worst. If you stay forever, let me hold your hand. I can feel those places in your heart no one else can. Let me show you love. I don't pretend. I'll be right here, baby. You know it's sink or swim. Oh, don't you worry. I'll be there whenever you want me. I need somebody who can love me at my worst. No, I'm not perfect, but I hope you see my worth. 'Cause it's only you, nobody knew I put you first. And for you, girl, I swear I do the worst. I need somebody who can love me at my worst. No, I'm not perfect, but I hope you see my worth. 'Cause it's only you, nobody knew I put you first. And for you, girl, I swear I do the worst.
Cari tahu soal informasi terbaru.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Miss Vincentia.
Good afternoon, Miss Anna.
Right, do you want to try to share your screen?
Yes, please. Hold on.
Okay.
Would you mind letting me share screen?
Okay.
All right. Can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes,
And
clearly.
is my voice clear enough?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we will start the parallel session at 1 p.m. and we still wait for the other presenters. Good afternoon, Mr. Marcus.
Hey Mbak Anna,
Hello, sir.
have you made the dog? Have you made the dog down from the tree?
Yes, sir.
You remember that? I'm afraid you forgot to feed him or to feed her
He's having a lunch now.
already. Good. So do I look like a DJ with this?
You look like a gamer.
Yeah. To tell you the truth, I borrowed this from my son because I didn't have one, you know. And I'm in a big room, trying to make sure that my masker is on.
No wonder that's your son's.
Yeah, so it's like a gamer, right?
Yes.
Academic gamer, I mean.
Indeed.
Hi, Tia. You have your colleague here, Mbak Anna.
Yes, my most lovely colleague.
Yeah. Mas Albertus Aurelio. What semester are you now?
I'm in semester 5, sir.
Oh, fifth semester.
Yeah.
I don't think you have been in my class.
Yeah. Maybe next time, sir.
Yeah. Are you going to say fortunately or unfortunately?
I want to try to join your class, but in my schedule, I don't find you in my schedule, sir.
Okay, no worries. You will be with other great lecturers anyway. Nothing to worry. So are all presenters arriving already?
Not yet, sir.
Okay.
We wait for 2 other presenters.
Good, no worries. Hai Renanda Putra Tanjung. Mas Renanda,
Hello, sir.
thank you for tough questions earlier.
Yes, sir. No
I
problem,
appreciate
sir.
that so much. Yeah. And do you get yourself prepared to ask tougher questions?
Yes.
Yeah, I love to get tough questions like what you have proposed earlier.
Thank you, sir.
Mhm. Oh, Bu Ika is here.
Yes, we have Miss Ika here.
Yeah. She looks she always looks busy, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. Our LLTC works well because she is behind the stage, you know.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, we have Dandy here. Hi, Mbak Dandy.
Hello, Mr. Marcus.
Are you doing fine?
Yes, Mr. Marcus, thank you. How about you?
I'm getting better.
Glad to hear that.
Thank you. Oh, Vina,
Hello, sir.
are you still in Kalimantan?
Yes, I'm still in my home,
I
Sambas.
see. Yeah. Do you find a lot of lie over there?
A lot of what, sir? Sorry.
Lie.
Like.
Well, the one that looks like durian, but it has soft smell and it's I think it's green. It's a bit orange, the color of the meat.
Oh, I found it in Facebook online shop, but I don't I don't buy it, sir. I
No,
only
it's in Kalimantan, right?
yeah. Is it?
Yeah, but never in. Well, I eventually bought some to Jogja and allow my family to taste that lie anyway. Okay. Well, there are new names to me.
Good afternoon, Miss Hesti Sarwinsong.
Good afternoon.
Do you want to try to share your screen to make sure that it works?
Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes, very clear.
Okay, it works well. Actually, before there was a blackout here.
Where is it? Where do you stay?
In Manado.
Oh, Manado. I see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Hesti. We still wait for one more presenters.
Okay. Hi, Bu Rizky.
Hi,
From-
sir.
From Kebumen, right?
Yes, is it all right?
Okay. We have Nico Yudhistira. Hey, Mas Nico.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Because it's already 1 p.m. and while waiting for the other presenters, let's just start today's session. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to parallel session 2 of the 8th International Language and Language Teaching Conference in Room 1. My name is Anna Patricia, a 7th semester student of Sanata Dharma University as today's moderator in this room. I will be in charge of this room. And before we begin, please let me read the rules. First, each presentation will last for 15 minutes. Second, in this parallel session, there will be 3 presentations and the presentation will be delivered in a row. And for the presenters, I will remind you if you have 5 minutes left via the raise hand icon, and there will be a notification on the chat box if you have 2 minutes left. Fourth, we will have Q&A session after all presentations have been delivered. And then the last one, other rules can be found in the program book. Okay, there are 3 presentations in this room. The first presenter is Miss Hesti Yuanita Sarwinsong. And the second presenters are Miss Ermilati Silya Runtukahu, Miss JCN Muntu, and Miss Olga Rorintulus. And then the third presenters are Miss Vincentia Devina Aurora and Mr. Marcus Budi Raharjo. Okay, now let's start with the first presentation entitled Social Inequality in a Novel of Charles Dickens, Oliver Twist, and Attitude Toward English Speakers. It will be delivered by Miss Hesti Yuanita Sarwinsong from Universitas Negeri Manado. Miss Hesti Yuanita Sarwinsong, you may have your time.
Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to this committee, Language and Language Teaching Conference, LLTC 2021, for allowing me to present my paper here. The title of my paper is Social Inequality in a Novel of Charles Dickens, Oliver Twist, and Attitude Towards English Speakers. Here in my paper, I would like to show you the introduction, the literature review, methodology, result and discussion, and of course the conclusion. My name is Hesti Yuanita Sarwinsong. I am a postgraduate student in Universitas Negeri Manado, and actually right now, currently I am working as a teacher. Introduction. In order to learn English as a foreign language, learners' attitudes are essential. Positive or negative attitudes can influence people's learning of L2, like Ellie said, and both can influence people's learning of L2. Literature is a media through which a person can communicate his ideas or express thoughts of opposition to society standards. Those works that deal with a common issue are made with a specific goal in mind. If the readers of a literary work can grasp what the author is trying to say, the author can communicate with them. By writing on social issues in the style of a literary work, the author expresses his or her feelings, thoughts, ideas, or arguments. I'm sorry. Regarding those topics. A novel is a type of literary work that depicts the development of a character or the complication of social situation, or the relationship between multiple characters in great detail. It is made up of a variety of phenomena and intricate interactions that are surrounded by a few characters in the story. Charles Dickens, he was acknowledged as one of the greatest Victorian novelists. He was able to produce a number of remarkable works, and one of which was Oliver Twist, 1839. It is a story of a 9-year-old boy who is being cared for in an orphanage. Then Oliver became the Sowerberry family's adoptive son, but his pain does not diminish. In fact, it worsens. Only Mr. Sowerberry treats him nicely, while the mother and her 2 children always hurt Oliver. He chose to run away and go to London, where there he confronted many challenges, who was told in detail of the novel. Social inequality is a necessary component of any modern society. Education has taken on a social significance. It is significant as a means of human figure education, as well as primary means of social reproduction and mobility. People are afraid to use their own language in the streets. A Polish immigrant says in a TV interview for a Global News 2016 piece on rising racism in the United Kingdom. Another immigrant claims she is afraid to go to work because you never know what their reaction would be in the minute you speak and the minute someone learns you are a foreigner. One British guy accosts someone he assumes is a foreigner and exclaims, "Speak decent English then," in a tense public interaction. In this paper, the researcher wants to find out the social inequality in the novel Oliver Twist and the attitude towards English. The method used in this research is descriptive method. A literature review. Social inequality. Social inequality is a phenomenon that has existed for a long time and continues to be a social concern now. It is also reflected in many literary works, especially in England's 19th century literary culture. The following researchers, Gottlieb L. Grzebina, I. Nancy Taylor, and S. Oxaibna, investigated the issue of educational and inequity, as well as youth professional orientation and graduate youth school life plans. The impact of social inequality on students' motivation in learning foreign languages is becoming increasingly relevant in the era of globalization in all aspects of people's lives, as stated by Gottlieb. According to Parson, Hinson, and Sardo Brown, 2001, socioeconomic status is a phrase used to classify people's social standing based on their family income, educational background, and occupational prestige. The social and occupational prestige. The social classes are divided into 3 categories, like higher, middle, and lower. According to the LAM, learners' socioeconomic situation has an impact on their language learning. Attitude is a product of interaction process, which somebody gives response from the accepted stimulus. Setiadi in 2006 said that attitude concept has 3 components: attitudes to English as subject to be learned, and attitudes to the speakers. Result and discussion. The social inequality that exists in OT in Oliver Twist is illustrated so clearly even at the beginning of the opening in each of its sections. There is one anciently common to most towns, great or small, to wit, a workhouse, and in this workhouse was born. In the Oliver Twist, it is told that Oliver was born and lives in a house that is commonly called a workhouse or a social house. Workhouse is not as good as it sounds, because actually the term workhouse is defined as a shelter for the tramp. Workhouse itself is an institution established for accommodating the poor. It has bad reputation due to frequent residents receive inhumane treatment. This institution was later abolished in England in 1930. In OT, situations are described very clearly, where the main character in the novel does not belong to the bourgeois society, but the proletariat, seen in the state of the environment in which they were born and lived his life. He might have been the child of a nobleman or a beggar. It would have been hard for the haughtiest stranger to have assigned him his proper station in society. But now that he was enveloped in the old calico robes which had grown yellow in the same service, he was badged, ticketed, and fell into his place at once. A parish child, the orphan of a workhouse, the humble, half-starved drudge, to be craft and buffeted through the world, despised by all and pitied by none. On the previous studies, data of Ayrton and John, a case study in Vancouver, Canada in 2013 that compared the language and literacy habits of 2 16-year-old Filipino immigrants from different socioeconomic backgrounds. The findings presented here shows how Ayrton and John, who come from different social backgrounds, have different perspectives and interaction with English. So as the conclusion, this research shows that social inequality has existed for a long time. This also indicates that attitude towards English can vary among young people from various socioeconomic. The teacher is very important for students to become aware of these issues. The teachers should respect and carefully investigate about students' feelings, beliefs, needs, and behaviors before designing English courses to maintain the positive attitudes toward English and English language learning. This is all my presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hesti Saroinsang. That was really fulfilling. Right now, let's continue to the second presentation entitled Women's Resistance Against Men's Domination in A Doll's House and Bekisar Merah, a Comparative Analysis. It will be delivered by Ms. Ermila Pislia Runtukahu, Ms. J.C. N. Muntu, and Ms. Olga Dorintulus from Universitas Negeri Manado. Ms. Ermila Pislia Runtukahu, you may have your time. Ms. Ermi, can you hear me? Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. But seems that I cannot share my screen. Can you help me to
Please send the PPT on the chat box.
Wait, yeah. So a little bit lagging here. I'm sorry.
Ibu Ermi, I guess you have
Yeah.
been the co-host, so you can share the screen.
But it is said that
Yes.
okay. Oh yeah, already. Wait. Where is it then? I'm sorry. Where is it then? There is none in my. Okay, I'm sorry for being you waiting. Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon, Ibu.
Okay, first of all, I would like to say thank to our God for giving us a great time so that we can meet in this great occasion this afternoon. And thank you also for the committee and also the moderator for this great chance for me to present my presentations. Okay, before I start, I would like to introduce myself. I am Ermilati Silia Runtukahu. You can call me Ermi. Okay, I am a postgraduate student from Universitas Negeri Manado, just the same as our previous presenter, Ibu Hesti. Okay, today I'm going to present my article entitled Women Resistance Against Men's Domination in a Dollhouse and Bekisar Merah. This is a comparative analysis. Okay, before we go further, I will show you the profile of our both works. So A Dollhouse, this is a play written by Henrik Ibsen from Norway. It is published at the first time in 1879, and A Doll's House has adapted into many films and also TV series. The second work is Bekisar Merah. This is from our country, Indonesia, written by Ahmad Tohari, published at the first time in 1993, and also Bekisar Merah has adapted into FTV. Okay, so social patriarchy is a gender bias value that structure for the benefits of men. On the contrary, it becomes disadvantageous for women. The background of these two stories, Bekisar Merah and A Doll's House, happened in the patriarchy society. Okay, before I continue, I'm sorry I cannot provide you the synopsis of the both story because I guess we have only limited time. So we back, yeah. In patriarchy, as what International Encyclopedia of Human Geography said, that patriarchy is a system of relationship, beliefs, and values embedded in political, social, and economic system that structure gender inequality between men and women. So men are considered more than women in those kinds of aspects. But since the end of 18th century, there has been a feminism movement where women demand equal rights with men. Feminism, according to Ritzer 2004, is a social critical theory which contains political, social context, economics, perspective, and history, which is about women facing injustice among people. Feminism theory is developed to protect the rights of women in society. As culture and social structure developed distinguishable differences between women and men as visible, and because of these differences, it can create discrimination and also causes harassment. Okay, I'm doing this one using comparative analysis. So the aim of this study is to reveal the act of resistance done by the women protagonists towards patriarchal dominations. The second is the similarity and the differences of both stories in the way the protagonists resisting the man domination. Okay, so the lead woman in Bekisan Merah is named Lasia, and the lead protagonist woman in Nora named in A Doll's House named Nora. We're gonna go through one by one. Okay, as a Javanese woman, Lasia has been educated by her mother or by society to be a person whose attitude is to accept everything that happens in life. So being pasrah or nerima ing pangdum means accepting her destiny is a form of obedience toward the social philosophical values in community. This is from Tohari cited from Pramono 2013. Pada diri Lasi, this can be seen from this statement ya. Pada diri Lasi masih tersisa keyakinan hidup orang Karangsonga. Karangsonga is a place where Lasi lives with her family. Seorang istri harus narima atau menerima suami apa adanya. This value also related also to their belief that Gusti ora sare, or Tuhan tidak tidur. God does not sleep. It is believed that God is always in control, so Lasi has to be patient and strong to face her miserable life. There is another statement also here. Saya hanya menurut, semua terserah ibu bagaimana. Bagaimana baiknya saya pasrah. I will do whatever you think good for you, mom. I give in. So the society also forced women to respect men. When finally Lasi married to Kanjat, actually Kanjat is a third husband of Lasi, but this man is her true love actually. So Kanjat is 2 years younger than Lasi, but because of the society forced her to respect men, then she has to call Kanjat Kang atau big brother, while Kanjat might call Lasi only by her name. Okay, we come to Nora, A Doll's House. Nora also in A Doll's House experienced the same way as Lasi. In her society, women expected to stay at home and attend the needs of their spouse and children. Women are viewed as inferior to men and were not provided full legal rights. She sacrifices herself to her husband in many ways. She acts as if she cannot do something without her husband as the head of the family, just to sustain her husband's pride. She deprives her own identity and dignity. Okay, we can see it. She must keep secret from eating macarons because her husband named Trofald doesn't want her to eat sweet. It can ruin her look. Okay, he also keeps secret that she borrows some monies from Krogstad. Krogstad is their friend, even though she did it to help her husband. Trofald said there can be no freedom or beauty about a home life that depends on borrowing or debt. He thinks that it can ruin his dignity if his wife borrowing money from others, but the fact is Nora did it. Okay, Nora experienced also the bad treatment from her husband, who fails to respect the individuality and freedom for his life partner just because of his sense of superiority. Below are what her husband said after he found out that Nora loaned some money from Krogstad. In his anger, he said, "For 8 years you have been my pride and joy, and now I find you hypocrite and a liar, and worse than that, you are criminal." And also he said, "You still can stay in a house, but you won't allow to do anything with the children." So because of Nora did some mistakes, according to her husband, then her husband assumed that she doesn't capable to take care the children. Another statement, "In fact, they might even think it was my plan, and I encourage you to do that." So it means that her husband still keep his dignity on this matter. And also another statement, "No man would sacrifice his honor." So Troval keep protecting his honor and reputation. He didn't realize that Nora did that one was to help him. Okay, experiencing those unjust treatment by their husband and society, Lassie and Nora then come to their turning point to do the resistance. So before we go further, let us see what is resistance means. So according to Oxford Dictionary, resistance means the refusal to accept or comply with something, the attempt to prevent something by action, argument. And also from Sandoval 2001, a response of a long process of someone's experiencing oppression, suppression, subordination, alienation, or even marginalization. Okay, so further we will see the action of resistance done by the two protagonists, and the first we'll see Lassie's. Okay, Lassie's experiences of alienation from her society drives her feeling of resistance within her deep heart. She sometimes imagines herself to be a male crab that can firmly clamp down on people who are unfair to her. Actually, when she was a child, her schoolboy always bullying her by calling Lasipang. Lasipang means Lassie, anak orang Jepang. Actually, she can bear it since she had never met his father. Everybody in that village know that her father lived and abandoned them. That is why when her friends call her by Lasipang, then the feeling of anger arises in her heart. Okay. Kemudian next, her feeling of painful also due to her husband betrayal has led her to a firm determination to leave Karangsonga, a place that she calls home. There is a statement here, lari dan balelo adalah satu-satunya cara untuk melampiaskan perlawanan sekaligus membela keberadaannya. So actually Lassie experienced great bitterness over her marriage because her husband Darsa cheated on her with other women. At that point, she decided to leave Karangsonga. Lassie resistance becomes more stronger after she stays in Jakarta. She refused and rejected any intimacy from Pak Handar Beni. Pak Handar Beni is her second husband, and Pak Bambung. Pak Bambung is the man who's her second husband, allowing Lassie to be with, due to her believing in the bond of marriage and holiness. Okay, her resistance also can be seen toward Pak Bambung and Bu Lanting when Pak Bambung want to sleep with her while she knows that she is bearing Kanjat's baby in her womb, and then Bu Lanting forced her to do the abortion. Jadi she said, "Saya tidak mau kesucian kandungan saya dikotori. I don't want the holiness of my pregnancy to be disgraced." Jika saya dipaksa untuk menggugurkan kandungan, saya mau nekat. Buat apa hidup kalau kehilangan kandungan yang sudah lama saya nantikan. So with the above statements, Lassie resisted Pak Bambung's domination upon her. Her fear and anxiety has driven her to make an unpredictable decision as her above statement. But Lassie then turned into someone new. When she left Karangsonga for the first time, she was a young woman without self-confidence. She was living under the oppressive social values. She had experienced many unjust treatment toward her in the way of men inferiority, sexual harassment. Her turning point is when she went to Jakarta. She turned into someone differently new. Her pregnancy gave her a significant change to have her dignity, pride, and self-determination that bring her into her resistance. Okay, now come to Nora. In some points, Nora in a doll's house realized that she has been doing everything so far is only to please her husband. So she feels ashamed. This make her to take sudden step to break her marital ties with Throfold and does not want to live with a stranger any longer. So he said, I never felt as convinced as tonight, and I have to educate myself, and you are not the man to help me with that. I have to do it by myself. That is why I am leaving. So the statement is said to her husband when she found that she is just becoming a doll in their house, when she realized that her husband doesn't really love her as the way she is. She also questioning the law of society at that time. She said, I found out that the law is different from what I thought. I can't accept the law is right that a woman isn't allowed to spare her dying father or save her husband's life. I want to find out which of us is right, the society or me. So Nora finally doing her resistance toward her husband, unjust treatment, and leave her house by slamming off a door to the world of new possibility. Okay, I have listed down the similarities of both story. So both story are in the era of patriarchal, when social value is structured based on a gender inequality between men and women. Men
Miss
is
Ermi?
superior. Yes.
Miss Ermi, sorry, I have to stop you because the time is up.
Okay, thank you. Just at glance. So this is the last one, yeah. So conclusion and suggestion. So I think this is a very interesting stories, and I recommend all the women to read or to watch this film or novel, because we can take some lesson from this one, though it is not many now, but there are still women who get married for money and wealth. Women still found to give up their faith, their learning opportunities, and they might have them more useful for life. Actually, in general, we as a woman seems to be weak and powerless, but actually we are strong and powerful. Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I give the screen back to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Ermi Runtukahu. That was really inspiring. Let's give a big round of applause. Okay, now moving on. Let's continue with the third presentation entitled The Teacher Identity Development of Butet Manurung in the Jungle School documentary novel. It will be delivered by Miss Vincentia Devina Aurora and Mr. Markus Budi Raharjo from Universitas Sanata Dharma. Miss Vincentia Devina Aurora and Mr. Markus Budi Raharjo, you may have your time.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Anna. Can you see the PowerPoint screen, everyone?
Yes, very clear.
Okay, thank you. First of all, good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank the LLTC committee for giving me the opportunity to share my research results today. So my name is Vincentia Devina. I am a 7th semester student of the English Language Education Study Program of Sanata Dharma University. And today I will be sharing with you my research on the teacher identity development of Butet Manurung in the Jungle School documentary novel. I did this research alongside my lecturer, Mr. Marcus, and I hope you enjoy my presentation. So before I get to the results of my research, I have a question for all of you, and I want you to try answering this within your hearts. How do you define a teacher's identity? Is it from their professionalism? If yes, then what is a professional teacher like? Do they have to have gone through teacher certification? Do they have to follow the state mandated curriculum by the government? Or do they have to have met all administrative requirements in becoming a teacher? Or do they have to be making good money from their teaching? Do these points determine a teacher's identity? I want you to have a moment to think about this and see if later after this presentation you will change your mind. So today we will learn from Butet Manurung. She is a teacher that did not have a teacher certificate, did not follow the state mandated curriculum at all, did not fulfill the administrative requirements, and she did not make much money from her teaching. Yet she managed to develop her identity as a teacher in the jungle. How? We will see now. So this research is analyzing the novel Sekolah Rimba, or in English, it is translated into The Jungle School. It is a documentary novel compiling the journal entries of Butet Manurung during her journey in providing education for the Orang Rimba. You may wonder, who is the Orang Rimba? Well, they're actually nomadic tribes who live in the rainforests of Sumatra. At that time, their home, the jungle, was being endangered by the expansion of palm oil plantations and illegal logging. So the Orang Rimba could not write, could not read, and could not count. And Butet really wanted to teach them that, because despite having the skills to preserve their jungle, they couldn't handle land contract well. So they were often tricked. That was why Butet was there, to educate, to help bring education to the Orang Rimba. And this novel has also been adapted into a movie directed by Riri Riza. The title is Sekolah Rimba. There have been several studies done on the book and also the movie related to education. First is Lestari and Shoim. They analyzed anticipatory learning found in the book. And then another study was done to find the educational values portrayed in the book. And then also another was done to study the values of responsibility and the relevance to the learning in Madrasah Ibtidayah as illustrated in the movie. And then another study was done to study the educational values found in the movie. Then we have another study that tried to find where the liberating education concept, or you're probably more familiar with Nadiem Makarim's Merdeka Belajar Kampus Merdeka. This concept was said to be illustrated in the movie. And then another study was done to find the character education portrayed in the movie. And then also the character education values found but in the book. And then finally, another study was done to analyze the self-regulated learning found in the book of Sekolah Rimba. And then from these previous studies, I found a research gap in which the studies, none of them were focusing on the teacher. They were mostly focused on the students, if not the approach or some concepts or the results of the learning. None of them focused on the teacher. So that was why Mr. Marcus and I came up with the research, generated the research question. How did Butet Manurung develop her teacher identity as portrayed in the Jungle School novel? And to answer this question, we used a theoretical framework by Farkis, Morgan, Johnston, and Johnson in 2005. They explored and conjoined 3 already existing theories on teacher identity, and we will take a look at those 3 theories further now. So, the first theory is the social identity theory by Tajfel in 1978. So the social identity is how the society labels the teacher in terms of the social group they belong to or the status they have. And also it's about how the society where the students belong to treat the teacher. Often or most of the times, a teacher may have different social identities. And here a teacher balances the different identities they possess. The next theory is the situated learning theory by Leif and Wenger in 1991. A teacher's identity is constructed by the experience they get from participating within the community. And in order to be able to properly participate in the community, a teacher needs to get access to the community. How, in this case, is by developing a good interaction between the teacher and also the students while considering the students' principles, beliefs, and backgrounds. After that, once access is gained, the students may start having motivation and start engaging alongside the teacher's participation, in which it will help the teacher's identity construction. And then the last theory is the image text concept by Simon in 1995. Here, a teacher's identity is portrayed and maintained within the wrapper or the relationship between the teacher and also the students. So most of the time, teachers cannot see themselves, but students can always see the teacher. They always read the teacher. So what is meant by image here is the discourse that happens between the teacher and the students that will affect how the students see the teacher. So it often involves the teacher's personal life for pedagogical purposes. In image text concept, teachers may try to deliver new views, new perspectives to the students, but also they respect and understand the students' different mindsets. When analyzing the excerpts from the novel, I came across the fact that actually from these 3 different theories, we can divide it again to several parts based on Butet Manurung's identity. The first one is the social identity of Butet Manurung. First, she was an education facilitator at WARSI. WARSI is a non-governmental organization in Jambi. And then Butet was an outsider to the Orang Rimba because she came from outside the jungle. And then the book also mentioned the education background and expertise of Butet Manurung. For the situated learning theory, we can divide it into 3 also. I'm sorry for the noise. The first one is the community's principles, then gaining access to the students, and students' motivation and engagement in learning. For the third theory, the image text concept, we have introducing the students to the outsider or orang terang's world, and then sharing new knowledge to the students, and also the teacher learning from the students. Okay, for the results and discussions, actually, I have prepared several passages from the novel, but because of the limited time, we will only take a look at it briefly while I mention again the divided points. Later, if you want me to explain to you why I chose those excerpts as an evidence of this theory appearing in the book, you may ask me in the question and answer session. So first, for the social identity theory, I have an excerpt which shows that Butet is an education facilitator at WARSI. So she was there to continue an attempt to create a learning program under Warsi. And then next is the Butet as outsider to the Orang Rimba, because Butet, as I said before, came from the jungle, came from outside the jungle, and Orang Rimba was very cautious to outsiders like Butet. And then next for social identity is her education background and expertise. Butet graduated from the anthropology and Indonesian literature major, and that had nothing to do with teaching. She did not have teaching backgrounds or any proper experience for that, but she became a teacher. That's an amazing thing. And then the next theory is the situated learning theory. We have gaining access to the students. Butet worked really hard to gain access to give education to the students in the jungle. And then we have the students' motivation and engagement in learning, where Butet finally gained access, and the students begin to show interest and begin to get to be engaged in the learning. And then the situated learning theory, we have the community's principles. So the Orang Rimba was very against education. They believe that it will bring them bad luck because they would go against the gods, the spirits, or the jinns that are in the jungle. So it really challenged Butet in providing education for the Orang Rimba. And then for the last theory, we have the image text concept divided into first, introducing the students to the outsider's world. Butet took really slow steps here. She was being really careful. And then sharing new knowledge to the students. As you can see there, Butet was giving some advice to her students who are also teacher trainees based on Butet's perspectives. And then lastly, we have learning from the students. Butet did not only teach, but she also learned from the students. And to conclude my presentation, so first, Butet's social identity in this book include being an education facilitator at Warsi, as an outsider for the Orang Rimba, and also someone who came from the anthropology and Indonesian literature educational background. And then for the teacher identity constructed based on the situated learning theory, she was influenced by the community's principles, the access she gained to the students, and also the students' motivation and engagement in learning. Lastly, for the image text-based teacher identity, it can be seen in how she introduced the students to the outsider's world, shared new knowledge to her students, and also learned from her students. And I would like to close my presentation with a really beautiful quote from the book. Ibu, or ma'am, I don't want to teach only reading and writing. I want to keep learning. I want to know everything there is to know about the whole world. This is said by one of the students of Butet Manurung at the jungle, Lincha. He went from not being able to read, write, and count, not believing that education will bring him good things, but now he is not only a student but also a teacher for his friends and family in the jungle. So that was because of Butet, who have properly developed her teacher identity in the jungle. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Vincencia Devina Aurora and Mr. Marcus Mudira Harjo for the engaging presentation. Let's give a big round of applause. Right now, it's time for the question and answer session, and there are plenty of questions here in the chat box. Okay, let's start with the first question from Ms. Rizky. This question is addressed to Ms. Hesti Saroinsang. I will read the question. As a teacher, I find that it is very difficult to teach novels to students who have limited access of vocabulary, especially in facing novels published abroad or native English. Could you tell me how to solve the problem effectively? Okay, Ms. Hesti, you may have your time to answer the question.
Thank you so much. So it was the question from
Ms. Rizky Dwi.
Miss Rizky. Well, thank you so much for the what I want to say. This is really difficult questions because nowadays the students are lack in doing kind of literary to read story. So as for me, it depends on the situation of the students and the teachers actually, as for me. Because if the teachers are teaching the students in the same way and like make it like interactive, attractive learning for the students, even it is reading, I think it will give good impact for the student. But even we teach them enthusiasm, read the story nicely, even we bring we are on the same situation with the story, but if the students are not really concentrating or not focused, I think it cannot be. So according to me, it depends on the situation. Is it clear?
Okay, Ms. Rizky, is that clear?
Yes, thank you, Miss Hesti.
You're welcome. Okay, thank you, Ms. Rizky and Ms. Hesti. Now we'll continue to the second presentation. It is from Mr. Mukhairon. The question is addressed to Ms. Ermi. I will read the question. As I know, the two novels come from different countries, of course, with different language usage. How do you contradict the term dominance while the two countries have two different cultures? Okay, Ms. Ermi, you may have your time to answer the question.
Okay, thank you very much. I try my best to answer the question, yeah. Okay, actually, this is also, I guess this one also can answer the first question, yeah, the other questions. So, in fact, they are both from different country. Actually, they have different culture. Okay, and also just like what one questions arise here. So talking about patriarchal, men's dominance over women, I think in Eastern and Western have difference because we are in different cultures. But the way how Nora and also Lassie feels about the dominance of the men in the position of their life at the moment, I think is just the same because they cannot do nothing. They have to respect men. They have to respect their husband. Just like what I said, they are nerima saja. And I think based on the Doll's House and also Nora and also Lassie, they perform the same way at the beginning. Only nerima saja. Okay. In also Nora, until she cannot stand, then she did the resistance. Also just the same as Lassie in Doll's House. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Ermi. Okay, now let's continue with the next question. It is from Renanda Putra Tanjung. This question is addressed to Ms. Hesti. I will read the question. I can conclude from the presentation and the story from Charles Dickens that the social inequality is a very grim thing. My question is, if people, let's say people from a higher social standing, read this story, will they be humbler towards people that are below their social standing? Ms. Hesti, you may have your time to answer the question.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Renanda, for your nice question. Yeah. Indeed, the social inequality which displayed in this novel is very grim, kind of sad. Yeah. Just like I have explained in my slide, this study is to find out the social inequality in the novel. So, like the novel by Charles Dickens tries just to communicate the situation of social inequality that existed on that time. What I mean is, social inequality indeed happens long time ago, and I think it still happens. It does until now. But before, like I have explained in this novel, based on this novel, it is quite grim. Yeah, like it is in Europe story, but in Indonesian also the same, just like Siti Nurbaya, the story, it's quite so sad to talk. And I think you said the bourgeois, they will think, wow, this is really not good. But indeed, I just want to explain to you that this case only to display about the social inequality in this novel. And then I think for nowadays, it's quite different. I mean, like when they hear this story, they will understand the situation on that time, long time ago. Actually, we know about this situation because we read the novel. Thank you very much, Renanda. I hope you get this.
Okay, Mr. Renanda, is that clear? Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Hesti, for answering the question. And there are several questions here in the chat box, and some of them are already answered on the chat box by Mr. Marcus. All right. Maybe we will have one more question. It is from Stanislaus. The question is addressed to Ms. Hesti. In the slide, you mentioned that there is a different attitude towards English used by the bourgeois and the proletariat. So I can say that the social class affects the attitude towards the use of English. My question is, do you find several examples that represents the different attitudes toward English, both bourgeois and proletariat in the novel? What are they? Ms. Hesti, you may have your time.
Yes, thank you, Stanislaus, for your question. Apparently, in my slide, I didn't explain about attitude towards English by bourgeois and the proletariat. I just explained it about, the situation of Oliver Twist on that time. But I found another case, another study that I have explained in the slide that have been made by the two Filipinos students. They made kind of case about the two Filipinos. This is from the different background. Of course, if we are talking about different background, we can say that maybe this is from the bourgeois and this is from the proletariat. So that's why I said in my conclusion that the attitude toward English can vary among young people from various socioeconomic. And I think your idea, this is about bourgeois and proletariat. I will try to make this in my paper next time. So thank you, Mr. Yeah. Stanislaus for giving me idea about bourgeois and the proletariat attitude towards English. Maybe later I will let you know later. But for this time, I think this is that I can explain to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hesti. Mr. Stanislaus, is that clear enough for you? Okay, all right. Now for the next question is from Miss Vina, addressed to Miss Tia. It says, thank you for sharing. It sounds like you really fall in love with Sekolah Rimba's story. And what will you do if you have a chance to teach like Butet Manurung? Thank you. Miss Vincentia, you may have your time.
Thank you for the question. I thought we would not have time for my turn. So I already said the answer in the chat room, but I will say it again. It's true that I'm really, really in love with the story of Butet making Sekolah Rimba. It was really heartwarming and it was really amazing. And it really changed my views on education, on how I should be as a teacher, because I want to be a teacher. And if I have the chance to teach like Butet, I mean, not teaching in the jungle because I'm scared of insects. But if I can teach for people who really need it, and I can make my own curriculum based on what they need, based on what they believe, so I can educate them without changing their beliefs or local values, that will be very amazing, and I would love having the chance to do so. So that is my answer. Thank you so much for the question.
Okay, thank you, Miss Vincentia, for answering. Miss Fanny, Vina, is that clear enough?
Yes, it's clear, Anna. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Tia.
Okay, now before we end this session, let us have a picture together. So please, everyone, turn your camera on. Okay, I will count. 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Right, one more time. 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you so much. And that's the end of the parallel session 2. And in the chat box, I will share the exit tickets for today's session. There will be 2 links for each presenter and participant. Okay. Wait. All right. I already sent the link on the chat box, and see you again tomorrow on the second day of the conference. We will have 3 keynote speeches from Dr. Willy Renandia, Dr. Jane Lammers, and Dr. Kosa Kastuhandani. Thank you for your attention and participation. We will meet again tomorrow. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Miss Anna, and all the presenters.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Hesti, Miss Ermi, and Miss Tia.
My pleasure.
Don't take my hand, let's touch the world tonight. We need one love. One love, la, 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 la. Someone in the world right now needs a little love right now. Do it for the people now, beautiful people now. Even when it's dark outside, put your phone to the sky and shine it all around. Every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. We laugh, we cry, we keep on dreaming. Every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. You know the vibes, you know the feeling. One love, it's time to light it up. Don't take my hand, let's touch the world tonight. We need one love. It's time to light it up. Don't take my hand, let's touch the world tonight. We need one love. One love, la, 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 la. 내고 내게 시간 투자를 가며 널 용서하길 그냥 잊고 넘어가길 아무 일도 없었다고 내가 이상한 거라고 널 믿었는데 결국 난 다시 I know you're sorry 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 네 잘난 사관 다른 사람 위에 아껴둬 I know you love me love me love me love me 그래도 넌 나보다 네가 더 중요해 또 그 거짓말 난 눈을 감아 Oh nobody nobody fools me twice 난 이제 안녕을 말해 Cause nobody nobody fools me twice Cause nobody nobody fools me twice 기다릴 필요도 없고 끝난 걸 모른 척은 마난 돌아가지 않아 이젠 지쳤어 I know you're sorry 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 네 잘난 사관 다른 사람 위에 아껴둬